Spring is here. It's the time of year where most of us think about buying a new grill or smoker. Maybe we're trying to replace one that we have. Maybe we're trying to add to our smoker family. Today on the channel, I'm going to talk to you about the differences between a pellet grill, a gas grill, a kamado style grill, and an offset. As you can see, for a backyard griller, you've got lots of options. I'm going to break down the pros and cons of each and give you some input to help you decide which one's the best for you. What's up, barbecue fans? Welcome back to Patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Rum and Cook. Today on the channel, we're talking smokers and grills. We're going to go over the 4 different types of smokers that I have. Well, 3 smokers and 1 grill. My goal here is to help you decide which is the best for you. Couple housekeeping things first. Number 1, I'm just getting over a pretty bad head cold, so if I sound a little off, I apologize. Number 2, there are no opinions bought on this channel. My Yoder by Lynx, my Komodo kamado, I bought full price before I even had a YouTube channel. My offset, I bought full price with the intention of starting my offset rookie channel. But these are all my own opinions. And there's, even in general, if you ever see me do any sponsorships down the road and everything, I get approached all the time. That's what happens when you have a YouTube channel. I'm never gonna feature something on my channel that I don't believe in. That's just not how I work. Now, from time to time, Yoder does now send me accessories if I want to do a video on a specific accessory, but outside of that, I'm free to say whatever I want. So I just want to get that out of the way. Number 3, I get it. There's some expensive grills behind me. I'm not here to say that you need to spend this kind of money on these grills. I've been buying grills for 30 years. I'm at a different stage in my life than maybe you are, and I've worked darn hard the last 7 years to get where I am today. So in every case, I'm going to give you an option that is less expensive. What I highly encourage you to do, though, is save your money and buy that minimum that I'm recommending. It's not cheap, right? Some of them are going to be $700 or $1,000. But if you're going to spend $400 or $500 on a grill or a smoker, you're going to regret it. I've been there. I've bought many grills in the last 30 years. My first grill, I walked down the road. It was up in the garbage, and we didn't have any money, so I walked it down. It was an old Sunbeam. Some of you may remember the brand. And I just spent $70 on it, and I put a new regulator, new burners in it, and that's what I started with. Start with something that gets you to the bare minimum, save some money, and buy something of value. I'm a big fan of buy once, cry once, because you definitely get what you pay for. I've made too many mistakes in my lifetime of wasting money. So, last and final thing, buy a grill cover. If you're gonna spend some money on a grill, take care of it. All these guys have got covers, and when they're not in use, they're covered up. Take care of them. Take some pride in what you spend your money on. That's my spiel for today. We get off my soapbox. Let's talk about the Yoder. So over here we've got the Yoder YS640S. They have a smaller version, the 480, and then they get up to a 1500. So you've got some different options. The one thing I forgot to mention in the housekeeping thing is pick your size and then buy bigger. The one thing you can't do is you can't make your grill grow in size magically by thinking about it. So think about what size you want and then buy one step bigger. Because you'll never regret having a bigger grill. You never know when you're going to have more people over than you expected and you want the room to cook. So consider that. But pros and cons of a pellet grill. First one is ease of use. This thing is computer controlled. You plug it in, you turn it on, you set your temperature, you light it, and away you go. We use these wood pellets here. Get all kinds of different flavors out there. And you've also got 2 pit probes. So what you do is you put a probe in your meat and you walk away. It's very easy to use. The learning curve is pretty simple. There's a ton of videos out there on it. And it allows you to smoke or grill as another pro of it. It's pretty flexible. The Yoder specifically has a plate that comes out so you can expose the firebox. You can put some grill grates in there and now you can sear, which is something that you can't do in a lot of pellet grills. So it was one of my deciding factors on the Yoder. And that's actually standard now. I have a full review video on this. I'll put a link up here for it if you want to get in depth on the Yoder specifically. Another pro of a pellet grill is that it doesn't have any direct flame contact in normal mode. There's a big diffuser plate here, so what happens is the pellets, there's an auger, feeds pellets into the firebox, fire's lit, it hits the diffuser plate, and there's a fan that circulates that hot air. Think of it almost like a convection oven. But the beauty there is that you don't have to worry about flames burn your meat and whatnot. So it's a little bit more of a laid-back cooking experience, unless you, of course, you open up the diffuser door and you're cooking over direct fire. Some things that I like to cook on it. Number one, chicken. Love doing chicken. It's my favorite thing. I do it a lot during the week, especially a marinated chicken or even beef. The reason for that is because you can turn this on, you can set your temperature up, walk away, let it get started up. You put your meat on it. If you put it right over where the door is, keep the door in, but if you put the meat right there, you get a nice sear on it. But because there's no flame contact, you don't burn off your marinade. So if you're one of those people that likes to have marinated meats that change the flavors of your chickens and your beef, this is really good for that. It does great whole chickens, and again, because there's no direct flame contact, you don't have to babysit it. So I do a lot of chicken on it, a lot of marinated meat. I've got a great video on smoked burgers that turned out delicious on this. Now the one little caveat with a pellet grill is that, a common question is, can you use this thing as a normal grill, grilling up for a big party? And my response to that is, check out my smoked burgers video, because you could fill up this whole thing of smoked burgers, smoke them up, and then as you're getting ready to serve them, pull out the door and sear them all up. Right? This is not going to be super hot on the right-hand side like a gas grill, where you've got the whole surface one temperature and you're just going away searing up things, cooking burgers and dogs. You can do that on a pellet grill, but it is going to be a little slower. You're going to have to rotate your food around. I bought grill grates for the right-hand side, so I'm going to do a video on that. If that interests you, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's talk cons. First and foremost, pellet grills are not known to put out the most smoke. So if you're coming from another smoker, that's one of the things you're going to notice right away. If you never had a smoker, not a big deal. But if you've had one that puts out a little bit more smoke, you're going to notice that. There are a couple things you can do. You can cook lower and slower. Put your meat on the top rack, cook it for a couple hours at 200, so we're maximizing our smoke. The hotter it gets, the less smoke it puts out because we've got a cleaner fire burning. Another con, our sear area is relatively small. It's about this big. So when you put grill grates on there, it does expand a little bit, but the hot area is really going to be about this area, this big. So it's not a huge sear area, but you do have one, you just move around your meat. It's not a big deal. Another con is that these take a little bit of time to get going. So 20-30 minutes is a good rule of thumb. You want to let it get up to temperature and then stabilize and then use it. I come home from work, I turn it on, I go upstairs, I get changed, I make a drink, I prep my food, I bring it out, and I start cooking. Not a big deal, you adapt to it. The last con is that these require a little bit of maintenance. So pellet goes into ash, so before you cook, every time you open up the door and you dump out the firebox, and you should vacuum it at least once a month. Yoda would tell you do it more. Every few cooks you should really be vacuuming it, but I usually dump the ash in, I move it away from the firebox, and then once a month I vacuum it out. It really only takes 10 minutes, but you should be aware of that. Now Yoder, I've got a whole review video. I'll put a link up here if you want to get in depth about it. But American made, built like a tank, goes up to 600 degrees. Those were kind of some of the reasons why I went with it. If you want another option, Weber has an option about $1,000. They've got the Gen 2 now. I hear some great things about how that tastes. Now, don't watch some of the initial videos of it because you think the whole thing's going to burn down. There were some problems in the beginning with some grease fires, but they've been sorted out and they put out some good food. Another one is Green Mountain Grills. You're looking right around the $900 range, but it's a great pellet grill. That's what I'd be looking at if it were me. Who's a pellet grill for? A pellet grill is for someone who wants to get into smoking meat. They want to expand their cooking abilities, but they don't have a lot of time to play with the fire, and they don't want a big learning curve. They want to expand their horizons, but they don't want to jump in with both feet. Let's talk gas grills. So this guy's my Lynx 54-inch Pro. Pros on a gas grill. Well, first, ease of use. You turn it on and away you go. The second one is the ability to get it up to temperature in 10 minutes, no matter what time of year it is. Dead of winter, turn all burners on high, fire it up, 10 minutes, you're grilling, away you go. Love that about having a gas grill. There will never be a time when I don't have a gas grill in my patio. I just like the flexibility of it, right? Speaking of flexibility, this guy's got 4 different burning zones, and then I've got 2 rotisserie burners. I can do a keep warm, a medium, a high, and a sear zone, or I can do rotisserie chicken or rotisserie beef, whatever I want there. Ultimate in flexibility. Then I've got 2 burners over here. So there is nothing that I can't cook on this guy outside. So really, it's extremely flexible. Saute onions, make some bacon and eggs, whatever you want. But when you're grilling beef and vegetables or shish kebabs, whatever, you've got a lot of flexibility in a gas grill that you don't have on the other options. So I really do like having one. Another pro is there's not a lot of maintenance. The only thing you got to do is maybe change your propane tank if you're on propane. If you are on propane, I highly recommend you spend the money to get natural gas run out if it's an option for you. It is really nice to be able to just turn it on, fire up your grill, and away you go, and never have to run out of propane. I can't tell you how many times I ran out of propane. I've done it a lot, but one of my reasons why I held off on getting natural gas for so long is because natural gas is not as hot as propane, and I was worried it would affect my performance. What I didn't realize is they put it in a different regulator, they put in parts with larger orifices, so they just allow more fuel, and you can't tell the difference. So if that was on your mind, stop thinking it, get natural gas put in. Quick side tip while I'm thinking about it, do not, if you're stuck with propane, do not use the exchange programs. Those are 15-pound tanks, you're getting ripped off. We have a place around here called Tractor Supply. It's a farm supply store, but I can buy a 20-pound tank, and they actually undo the valve and they fill it up until the propane comes out the top, and it costs like, I don't know, 13 bucks to fill up a tank, and you're getting a full tank, full 20 pounds versus, I don't know, 16 or 18 at the exchange program. So little tip there. Some of the cons to a gas grill. Well, this is a grill. It's not a smoker. So you can use smoking tubes. I've used them on the channel before. You can put it under your meat, put some pellets in it, light it up, and get a little bit of smoke flavor into your food. But this is not sealed, so the smoke just kind of goes around the food and out. So you can't get a lot of smoke flavor on this at all. Another con is you're not going to get that charcoal flavor that you get on some of the other options. If you grew up with charcoal, you're going to kind of miss out on a gas grill. Can you cook some good food on a gas grill? Absolutely. I guarantee you, you go out to a high-end steak restaurant, most of them are not cooking over charcoal, most of them are cooking on some gas appliance, right? You gotta learn how to use it. You can turn out some great food on a gas grill. You just don't get that charcoal taste. Outside of that, I don't think there's really a lot of cons to a gas grill. I've used one my entire cooking career, we'll say, since I was a kid. What do I cook on this? Wings, fajitas, sausages, burgers, things that I want to come out and do quickly. Rotisserie chicken or rotisserie picanha on this is great. I highly recommend you get one with a rotisserie if you're going to get a gas grill. But like I said, I will always have one of these on my patio no matter what. I use it too much. Do I use it as much as the others? No, but there's definitely times when I want to run out and do sausages for lunch or wings, or especially fajitas, and I just need to sear it for a few minutes aside or whatever. By the time I'm done and cooked, the other ones aren't even going yet. So this guy is a Lynx, handmade in the States. hand polished, hand welded. This thing is like 600 pounds. It's built like a tank. In my opinion, there's not a better gas grill on the market. This is up there with the Sub-Zero and Wolf appliances. This is a luxury grill. This is not a grill for everyone. But one of my reasons outside of quality for buying this was that as I build out my dream kitchen, they have a matching kegerator, matching fridge, matching sink, matching gas burners and things like that. So I can build out a matching setup whenever I get there. But you know, this is a 15, 20 year investment. I will not be replacing this anytime soon. Options. Weber, Genesis series, $799, 10 or 12 year warranty. I think I heard they had a 12-year warranty on them now. Napoleon, you're gonna start around $799 to $1,000. Those things are phenomenal. I used a Weber Summit, which is a step up, for 8 years before I bought this. And the difference between like a Genesis or a Summit series versus your $400 grill is night and day. And again, 10-year warranty. Napoleon has a 15-year warranty on it now. Right? These $400 or $500 grills are gonna last you 3 years, maybe before they start having hot spots, and then you'll be lucky if you find some parts for them. So that's why I encourage you to spend a little bit more money. Let's talk Kamado grills now. This guy here, this is a Komodo Kamado. A Kamado grill works using lump charcoal. And what we do is we've got a vent down here. We open up our vent, we open up our vent up top, and the more air, the hotter it gets. Let's talk pros. First and foremost, ultimate versatility. We can cold smoke, grill, sear, bake, 900-degree pizzas. There is nothing that you can't do on that. Some of them even have a rotisserie like this guy, so you can do everything on this one smoker. Another pro about Kamado grills specifically is the way they work. So this guy, very, very thick walls around here. This thing weighs 950 pounds. Most of them are heavy, not as heavy as this one, but the reason why they're so heavy is that this material around the outside, what it does is it sucks up all the heat energy and then radiates it back into your food. So what happens there is now we're cooking from 360 degrees, so you're getting all of this air movement, you're touching a hot surface from the traditional grill, and now you're getting radiating heat, so your food cooks quick, and you're turning out some of the juicy, most flavorful meat that you've ever had. You can turn out some amazing food on this guy. It's tough to describe unless you've played with one. The first chicken you have on here, the first steak you have on here is just gonna be absolutely delicious. I mean, it turns out some great food. Another pro of these guys is they're very efficient. So, it doesn't take a lot of lump to run. So, you can usually 4 or 5 pounds, you can probably, depending on the brand, you can get away and smoking all day long. So they're not expensive to run in the long run. Some of the cons, it takes a little bit to get up the temperature. Much like a pellet grill, this is gonna take you 20 minutes, depending on the season. There's a little caveat there. In the winter, 30 minutes to get it up to speed. You do not want to take this and get it super hot quickly in the winter. Other brands will crack. This one has special grout, and the grout will crack. It's easily repairable, but you don't want to do that. You want to bring it up to speed a little slower in the winter. But even in the summer, you don't want to just fire it up to 900 degrees and get it going. It takes a little bit of time to get it heat soaked so that it actually works the way it's intended to. The better heat soaked it is, the better product it turns out. So that is one of the cons, that it takes a little bit more time to get up to temperature. Another con is there is a little bit of a learning curve to this. Not, the pellet grill, you turn it on and away you go. This one's got a little bit of a steeper learning curve to it. It's not terrible though. I usually tell people 10, 15 cooks, you're gonna have a good idea of how to use it. The big thing is to start to learn your vent settings, right? So I know if I'm open a 1/4 inch on the bottom and about a 1/4 turn up here, I can get into that 225, right? Over time, get a logbook or something, but just learn your vent settings and then watch a ton of videos. The great thing about a Kamado grill is that it doesn't matter what brand it is, it applies to whatever you have. They all work the same. You just got to adjust your vent settings, but you can turn out a recipe that was done on a Big Green Egg and do it on here, no problem. Same with a Komodo Joe. Other than that, there's really not a lot of cons to one of these guys. They turn out some great food. I'm a big fan. Now, Komodo, handmade in Indonesia. This is, again, more of a luxury one. This is hands down the best Kamado on the planet. You're not gonna find one built like this. This is a 32 inch, there's 125 pounds of stainless steel. It weighs 950 pounds. If that's not in your budget, the brand to get, in my opinion, is a Komodo Joe. I had a Komodo Joe for 3 years before I bought this guy, sold to my buddy. He's still using it today, 3 years later, and Komodo Joes make a great product. Big Green Egg makes a great product as well. I just think that Komodo Joes, they spend a little bit more time and research and money into improving the product. The Big Green Eggs don't change, right? This lid, I don't know how much it weighs, 300 pounds or something. It's got a spring, right? I can open it with one finger. Same with the Komodo Joe. On Big Green Egg, they don't put a spring in it. It's a heavy lid. There's things like the Jotisserie, there's the Pizza Joe, or whatever, I can't remember what it's called, but it allows you to put a door in here so you can slide pizzas in and out of it. So I think Komodo Joe is really kind of led with innovation. So if the Komodo's not in your budget, I'd be looking at a Komodo Joe. Last but not least, let's talk offsets. So what's an offset? Offset has a big firebox over here. We throw in our logs or our splits of wood, we build a fire, and all that smoky goodness comes across the chamber and out the stack. Biggest pro with an offset is a flavor and a smoke depth that is untouchable on any of these other smokers. Because you're burning wood all the time, the sugars in the wood and the flavor of the wood gives the food a very unique flavor that you just can't duplicate elsewhere. Another pro is because of how much convection and hot air is moving across at a very rapid pace, we can build an amazing bark and we can render out fat very, very well. So all of a sudden your brisket fat is all nicely broken down and the flavor of it is just completely different. Another pro is you do have a little bit of flexibility. I talked in the pellet grill about the ability to marinate meat and not have direct flame contact. We can do the same thing here. You can make marinated chicken, you can do some wings, you can do some sausages, you can do a cold smoke in this. So you've got some versatility. You don't have as much versatility as some of the other, but the quality of food you put out is pretty darn amazing. Let's talk cons. The biggest con is the learning curve. Learning curve is actually bigger than I thought. There is an art to learning fire management. You know, there's a reason why there's the monthly top 50 in Texas. It's got the top 50 barbecue joints. They're all serving the same thing, right? Brisket, sausages, chicken, ribs, but there's a very big difference in the flavor profiles that they're turning out. And part of that is fire management. There is an art to learning how to read the fire, how to manipulate your coals, when to add more wood, and it's a big learning curve. This is not something that you sit there and you're gonna pick up in a very short period of time. I'm 10, 11 cooks in, and I'm still learning. And I feel like I have a lot to learn. I'm actually gonna be doing a video on my Offset Rookie channel about fire management after this video and the 10 mistakes that I've made so far. Check out that channel if you wanna learn more. But there is definitely a lot to learn. The other con is that this is not a set it and forget it whatsoever. You're gonna be out adding more wood 20, 30 minutes to it continuously. You have to do that to keep your fire going. You gotta get your temperature stabilized. Otherwise, you're gonna have these wide ranging temperature swings and the food product is going to be terrible. So this requires some advanced babysitting. This is not for someone who doesn't have a lot of time. This is for the person who is very passionate about barbecue, but also has the time to sit and babysit a fire and wants to learn. There's a lot to learn on it. The last con of it is this guy takes a long time to get up to temperature. All right, we've got to build a coal bed, and we need to get a large coal bed, so it's going to take you 45 minutes, 60 minutes to get this stabilized and at the temperature you want before you can even use it. So this has the longest startup time by far. Do I like it? Absolutely. I love it. I'm really enjoying learning, but I like to tell people, like, hey, you've got a learning curve for sure on something like this. What do I like to cook on it? Brisket, obviously. I have not done a pork butt on it yet, but I have done some turkey that was absolutely delicious, like big turkey breasts. And the thing about the turkey is that, you know, normally when you cook turkey, the next day it's shredded and you pull it out of the fridge, it's kind of dry. This guy was still moist the next day. It was phenomenal. So I'll be doing some turkey breast on it again. I've done French dip sandwiches, done some wings. I've even done some steaks where I reverse seared them with mesquite wood and then seared them on the Cowboy grill. This one's got the Cowboy grill option. I've got grates there so I can sear over a fire. I do like that option for it. Now this guy's a Workhorse Pits. Again, this is a high-end backyard. It's made of 3/8 inch steel. If you're in the market for one, the magic number is 1/4 inch steel. If you're buying one of the cheaper ones and it's not 1/4 inch steel, you're going to be chasing your fire the entire time. You need something that's a little bit thicker so that it retains the heat, and ideally you want a little bit of a larger firebox. Now, are some people turning out some great food on some of the really expensive offsets? Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, they're using charcoal and they're adding chunks of wood, and they're really treating it like a kamado style grill more than an offset because they can't manage the fire properly. If this is not in your budget, the other one to look at is, I think it's called Old Country Brazos. Probably not saying that right, but it's about $1,300, $1,400. If you look at Mad Scientist Barbecue, he's got a whole bunch of videos on that. That's what he used for a very long time. Loves it. There's also a whole community that's making mods of them to improve it. So it's an inexpensive way to get into an offset rather than spending this kind of money. But again, this is 3/8 inch steel. I am never going to replace this. Someone will inherit this because it will still be in great shape as long as you take care of it. So this is a one-time investment. That's why I spent the money to get this one and to get this size. I didn't ever want to replace it. And you know, we can do a lot of briskets. There's 2 shelves on this one. You know, we can get 3 or 4 briskets in here on the bottom and maybe another 2 on top, depending on the size of brisket. So I'm not going to outgrow this. It's got some great size to it. The second shelf goes in here. But offset cooking, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of hard work. So this is for that person who's got the time and is obsessed with great barbecue. So there's kind of your mall high look at each of these 4 different types of cookers. There's lots of options out there, as you can see. There's even more options than I have, but these are the 4 main fuel source types that you're gonna be shopping for. On my channel, I have in-depth reviews of these 3, and on my Offset Rookie channel, I have a 10 reasons why I bought my Workhorse. You'll find those helpful. I also have Pellet Grill 101 and Kamado 101, which applies to any Kamado style grill. There'll be links in the description below for those. Additionally, if you've got questions, drop a comment below. I respond to all my comments. My email information is at the very bottom of the description. Shoot me an email if you're hung up and you've got a question. I mean, I've had lengthy email conversations trying to help people decide. I've had a couple phone calls. I'm happy to kind of give you some input based on my experience, help you make the best buying decision for you. If you're not subscribed yet, please do that. Subscribe to Offset Rookie too while you're there. Give it a thumbs up. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.